ano yung controversy? Nagsimula yan doon sa TikTok, di ba? Nag-post kayo. It started with Guess the Bill Challenge. Okay, so ikwento natin sa kanila paano nangyari yung Guess the Bill Challenge na yun at pinost.
Okay, so I was invited to my friend's birthday dinner. It was her birthday, and it was a nice dinner that her agency treated us to. And we were just joking around, and we knew it was a expensive dinner. It was quite an expensive dinner. And so there's this trend on TikTok called Guess the Bill. And we decided to do a spin on it in a way like, oh, jokingly, winner has to pay. A lot of my content on TikTok is very joking, very sarcastic, very satire. And I think a lot of my original audience knew that. But then the video kind of got posted to an audience that didn't really know me. And I think that's where things started to get blown out of proportion in a way. Because the video was a joke. We didn't actually pay for it. And I clarified that in the video as well. My statement video, that it was a joke. But yeah, it blew out of proportion.
Kasi dinamay na yung surname mo, family mo,
Yeah.
di ba?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Lolo mo,
Yeah.
daddy mo, mami mo,
Yeah.
nipo baby.
Yeah.
Ang dami nang tinawag sa'yo.
Yeah.
So when it blew up, kailan mo na nalaman na parang, ay, medyo lumaki to?
I think so. What happened was more and more people started coming in, commenting just hate, and then I went live on TikTok, and then someone said, "Girl, they're attacking you on Twitter," and then I was just like, okay, whatever. Like,
Nag-trending ka ba sa Twitter?
yeah, I was #1 trending in the Philippines on Twitter. Yeah. And then I was on Instagram and I checked my message request. Someone sent me a post by a certain news platform and they were talking about the hate I was getting on Twitter. And that's when I realized, okay, this is getting out of proportion.
Binasa mo yung mga hate?
Yeah, the hate was worse, I guess. It was
Pinaka-worst na nabasa mo?
I was privileged, insensitive, like rich kid, ignorant, all these different things. Useless, disappointment, ugly. Like some people even told me to like commit suicide, like kill yourself.
Okay, wait. Bago ka mag-comment about it and bago ka gumawa ng reaction video, tinawagan ka ba ng mami mo or ng daddy mo about it?
I didn't tell my parents actually when I made the video. It was more of just like because my initial thought, was, okay, this news platform made an article about it and I opened Twitter, obviously, like instinctively I opened Twitter, but then I saw maybe like 5-10 different comments talking about it, and that's when I was like, okay, I need to protect my health. I need to protect my mental health mainly. And so I just did not open Twitter and I just went off of kind of the article and the little tweets that I'd seen, and I made a video. And I think that was my mistake as well, because I didn't see everyone's points, because I wanted to protect myself from.
You wanted to stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, but you said kanina, I think that was my mistake.
Yeah.
So why did you think na mistake yung
Because
decision mo na yun?
before I made the video, I had only seen a few tweets. Like I had only seen some people's points, the more popular tweets that went viral. I didn't see the whole issue holistically as to why people were reacting this way, why people were angry. And that was my mistake, I guess. I didn't get to address everything. But by the time I had made the video, it was already, that made the hate even worse, blew up even more.
So paano mo hinandle yun? Like,
Originally, I was fine. I was completely fine. That's when I made the response video, and that's why I came off very like, you know, it lacked emotion, my response video, because I was completely fine. I knew these people were completely misinterpreting my personality, my characters, my morals, my beliefs. That's why I wasn't gonna let it get to me. And also, I'd gone through this in high school. I'd gone through this in a personal setting where I had to see these people one-on-one. So what more people online who have no idea who I am personally. And so I was completely fine at first, but when the hate started to get to the point where people were commenting about how I should take my life, how I'm ugly, useless, disappointment, all these trigger words that I had heard earlier in my childhood and my high school experience, that's when it kind of got to me. And I was a little bit like, I think for a day, 2 days, I was just a little bit like, you know, crying a lot and like just like, I guess I was just kind of questioning myself, because I had done so much to heal from past experiences. I'd done so much to remind myself how I'm a good person. I deserve good karma that's coming towards me now this past few months. And that kind of made me question myself in the way that like, maybe I am a bad person. Maybe I don't deserve to be here.
ganun talaga eh, kapag may mga outer external voices na nagpe-penetrate sa inner core mo, iko-question mo na rin yung pagkatao mo talaga eh. Wait, totoo ba yung sinasabi nila? Ako ba talaga to? So, Paano yung parents mo? Paano nila hinandle to?
Kind of handled it on my own. I didn't want my parents to worry as well. I was considering seeing a therapist again for just a little bit, just so I can talk about all of these different things.
Pero nag-therapy ka nun because?
Oh, I started therapy because of my battle with mental health, mental illness. I think when I was around 13 or 12 actually is when I started to struggle with it, but 13 is when it became a prominent issue for me that like I need to seek professional help.
Bakit nagkaroon na ng ganung decision na I need to seek professional help?
I think it's my mental health got to the point where it was so bad that it was hindering my ability to function on a day-to-day basis.
So naging ano ka? Depressed?
Yeah, depressed. And then I started self-harming and all of these different.
Like in what way would you hurt yourself before?
I would.
You would cut?
Yeah, I would cut myself. I think when my emotions get really strong, especially negative emotions, I feel very tense. I feel very tight. Like everything, the world is just crushing down on me in a way. And at the time, my only outlet, my only coping mechanism that I knew of was.
It was a bad way of thinking that's how it solves the problem.
Terrible way of thinking.
But it is a terrible way of thinking that hurting yourself will release you from the inner pain that you were feeling. Kasi may kinuusap ako, the reason why they hurt themselves physically is because the internal pain is too much that they have to see an external pain just to divert from the inner.
It's kind of feeling like there's a release, like you're
At
just...
saka nadadivert sa ibang lugar yung pain when it's too much. When in fact it's not, it's a very unhealthy way of dealing with an internal pain.
Yes.
Pero bago ka mag-therapy at bago ka makarating dun sa depression and harming yourself, may pinagdaanan ka kasi. You went through something nung bata ka.
Yeah, different types of abuse actually, because I think my parents were very busy with their work often, so my yaya was my companion a lot of the times, and she was abusive in more ways than one. So one of the ways was verbal, so she'd always insult me, say the same things to people, and these people on Twitter were saying.
Okay,
You're
when
useless,
you say
disappointment,
yan ang sinasabi sa'yo ng
stupid,
yaya mo?
yeah, all these different things. And then she kind of gave me these paranoid beliefs. So one thing was I couldn't be in rooms alone, any enclosed space. So because I had this feeling like I'm gonna die. There's something in here that's gonna kill me. Like it felt like the devil was in my room. Like it felt like I'm going to
yaya
die.
mo?
Because of my yaya, I only got over this fear when I was around 14 years old.
Why
15
will
years old.
she lock you inside confined spaces?
Yes, so one thing was sometimes if I was supposedly bad or anything like that, or if I was crying or anything to try and get me to stop, she would get like a stuffed toy and she'd say, this stuffed toy is gonna kill you. It's gonna do this to you and that to you. She put the stuffed toy in the closet and she'd lock me in the closet. And then I was a toddler. I was like 3 years old. So I would always think like, this stuffed toy is really gonna kill me. I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die.
Did you ever tell your parents what you were going through?
When I was older, because at the time I didn't realize it wasn't normal. It was all I had known for a while because I was a toddler, and I didn't realize this wasn't a regular kind of disciplinary action or move or anything like that. So I remember I casually mentioned it to my first grade teacher, and then she told my parents, and she said like, this isn't okay, like you need to get help, blah 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 blah. And
Kinausap ka ng parents mo about it?
yeah, they told my parents. I think that was the first kind of taste of like my parents finding out something about my yaya. But I only fully told them everything when I started going to therapy, and I realized, okay, wait, this wasn't normal, that wasn't normal, this wasn't normal.
Parang yung kinukwento sa atin ni Emman ngayon is also an awakening para sa ating mga parents. Na yung kung saan natin iniiwan at kung sinong nag-aalaga sa mga anak natin, malaki din ang nagiging impact nila sa personality at pagkatao ng mga anak natin. Yan ang magiging childhood memory nila. So kung anong ginagawa ng yaya or ng guardian, magkakaroon ng malaking impact yon. So paano yan naka-affect sa mental health mo growing up? Na naging malaking influence yung yaya. Kasi sinabi mo, naging verbally abusive siya sa'yo in a way?
Yeah.
She puts you down the way she
Yeah.
speaks to you?
Yeah.
Physical? What kind of physical was done to you?
Because I was scared to be in rooms alone, she had to sleep in bed with me. And so every time I would move to change positions, she'd slap me.
Hindi mo sinusumbong yun. You didn't tell that to your parents. The my yaya was hitting me.
No, I didn't. I didn't realize it wasn't normal. I think for a lot of my childhood, I thought a lot of these things were normal.
So, gaano katagal naglast? Naalala mo ba yung ganong cycle of like abuse?
I think she got fired for an unrelated reason. To me, I think she talked back to my parents. Yeah, that's when she just left the next day, and I never saw her again since.
Yeah, pero yung impact na ginawa niya sa buhay mo, di ba?
Yeah. After a while, I started to realize it was wrong, and I started to process more things. But there were some things that were, I was scarred in.
1 to 7 years is the formative years of a child.
Exactly.
So kasama yung yaya sa formative years mo. So ano yung mga na-realize mo na wrong that were done to you? Aside from being locked in the closet, put down like sa words.
Things also related to sexual experiences.
Oh, paano yung sexual? Alam to ng parents mo na ngayon?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
One thing was I had always known what sex was. I had always known since for however long. I never had to have the birds and the bees kind of talk with my parents or anyone, or when, in wellness class, we had a wellness class where they teach sex ed, and I knew all of this. And then
Bakit mo nalaman?
it's because my yaya, she would tell me things in depth about like, oh, this is what sex is. This is like, all the different details, and then like she'd make me watch porn with her.
Bakit nanonood ng porn ng yaya? Babae yung yaya?
She's a girl, yeah.
Nanonood siya ng porn?
Yeah.
With you?
Yes.
How old were you?
I was a toddler, like 3 or 4 years old.
Oh my God.
And then one of the
Wala
first
alam
things,
ng parents mo dito? Because they were working.
yeah, the sexual experiences were the first ones that I kind of realized this is not
Mali.
right. Yeah, because those are kind of more established boundaries as you grow older.
Yes.
But yeah, and then I think more of the emotional, verbal ones.
Kaya ka nag-therapy.
Yeah.
Kasi marirealize mo yun as you age. Marami palang maling bagay that was done to me when I was a kid. Nagkaroon ba kayo ng one-on-one ng parents mo? Like, you told your mom and your dad, this is what I experienced when you were working and I was left with this guardian. Nasabi mo yun sa kanila?
I never told them just like this, all in like an hour-long conversation, but it was always I'd mention bit by bit, she did this, she did that. It was slowly as I was trying to figure out different bad things that she did, I'd slowly tell them more and more and more and more.
Anong sabi ng parents mo?
They resented my yaya, I'd say, because they were already made aware of my mental state, and I think
I heard you were also bullied in school.
I was, yeah.
Bullied in what way?
I was very outspoken, very, weird, some may say, like very quirky, but in a lovable way. And that was always my shtick in a way. And then not only was I a loud person, but I also loved very loud, like I just said. And so I had crushes. So I had a crush on him. His friend actually had reached out to me and started messaging me, and the friend was someone I had a crush on before, and he publicly like rejected me, and it was an awkward situation and very tense between us. So when he reached out to me and started talking to me, I was like, okay, yay, like it's not tense anymore, like it's not awkward, anything like that. And he messaged me, and we were just talking back and forth. And then one day he messages me asking for nude pictures, like for pictures of me in my underwear. And I was around 13 years old at the time.
Okay.
And
of course, you were 13 years old.
I was 13 years old. I had never held hands with someone, kissed anyone, anything like that. So of course I said no, like I'm not doing that. Of course not. And then he keeps asking and asking and asking and asking.
How old is the guy? 13 then?
Yeah, he's also my age. And so he keeps asking and asking, please, like, just send one, just one, just one. And after a bit, I was like scared because we're so tense before, it was so awkward before because he had rejected me. And before then, he was my friend, and I just wanted my friend back, So I was just like, okay, I'll do it. I sent him one picture, and I thought that would be that. We'd go back to our regular conversation.
As in naked?
Underwear at the time. I thought it would be over, but then he kept asking again and again and again. And I think I had sent him maybe 2 more pictures, something like that, 1 to 3 more pictures, until I finally said, okay, no, absolutely no more. Like, that was my line, absolutely none. But then he knew that I liked his friend. I had a very big crush on his friend. And so he tells me, like, can I send this to my friend? I really want him to like you. I want him to get over this girl and like you. And I think he'd really like these pictures. And so me being 13, I had no idea how relationships worked, how winning someone over was, or flirting, or anything like that. So I was like, okay, if you think it's gonna make him like me, then okay, I'll I'll let it happen. And so he sent it to him, and then my crush messaged me and said like I'd seen it, and we went into this back and forth like every other day, sometimes days in a row. He would ask me for pictures, and I got no pleasure from it, like sexually. I got no pleasure from it at all. My pleasure from it was just he'd message me, he'd talk to me beforehand, and then it was just this false hope that like he'll like me back one day.
You were manipulated.
Yeah.
At 13 years old, diba? But at 13, you didn't know any better.
I didn't.
Ang gusto lang niya is to get
him to like me back.
But
Yes.
diba, it cost you like...
Yes. And then he'd been asking days in a row, sometimes every other day, minimum every other day he'd ask for one. Later I find out, one of my friends tells me, he's sending all of these pictures, every single picture, video, whatever I had sent to him was being sent to a group chat of 50 guys, something.
To school.
Yeah, for a year, 2 years, I think. There was no guy I'd ever met that didn't or couldn't have access to pictures of me naked.
So at 13, paano mo hinandle yun?
When I first found out, I was just numb. Like, it was just like, I think I was in such shock, but I think the effects were much more subconscious because everyone had already started to label me as a whore. Like, they tell me to my face, they'd say, you're a whore, you're a slut, anything like that. And yeah, I always assumed it's my fault. I put myself in this situation, and I am a whore, I am a slut, I am a crazy, wild, whatever everyone's labeled me as. And so
in-embrace mo na kung ano yung sinabi nila sa...
yeah, I kind of was just like, okay, if this is what I am, then that's what I'll be. This is my attempt to win people back. And so I would host parties, you know, I would buy tables for people at the club, anything like that. Just trying to fulfill this crazy, wild persona that was put onto me. And at first it worked. People were like, you know, I won people over. Yeah, I was cool.
Cool girl.
I was cool, rebellious, things like that. But again, I was still hurting.
Kasi for a while, you believe all the lies na pinroject sa'yo ng mga tao. And it's a long journey. At 18 years old, imagine, ang dami mo nang pinagdaanan. Tapos this controversy didn't help also.
Yeah.
Kasi parang binalik ka lang dun sa dati mong pinagdaanan.
Yeah, I think that was a real test to my growth was when this controversy happened. Because after I graduated high school, I was like, this is my chance to heal and to be myself and to...
Paano ka nag-heal?
I think I've just had a newfound appreciation for life and for myself. And I think some of it rooted from therapy, some of it rooted from new friends, a new environment, some of it rooted also from TikTok. And I think when I started posting on TikTok, I started to realize people actually want to hear what I have to say. They want to hear about me. They're interested in me. They actually care about me. It helped me realize my value. It helped me realize the value and the things I can contribute to this world. And so I always thought it was good karma, what was happening on TikTok, this kind of my platform growing in a way was good karma for all I had to endure in high school, childhood, whatever. And so when the controversy happened, it felt like the whole internet was against me at one point.
O parang bumalik nung high school.
Yeah, I start to question myself.
Buong school, ngayon internet na.
Yeah, I start to question myself. I start to think, maybe I'm not a good person. Maybe I don't deserve to be happy. Maybe I don't deserve this. What if I just died? Like the minute that idea came into my head, I stopped myself and I gave myself a pep talk out loud. I told myself, you are so worth it. You have worked so hard to get to this point where you are so happy in yourself and you can express yourself freely. You are not going to be letting these same type of people from high school, these same yaya from high school, this same kind of person in a different font do the same thing to you. You need to break this cycle of constantly letting other people bring you down. Gave myself a pep talk for a while, just out loud talking to myself in my room. And then I felt better, and I didn't go down this depressive rabbit hole turning to suicidal ideation and self-harm and all these different things. I just managed it. And when I look back at that, I'm so proud of myself, because if I had to deal with this, I'd say a year ago, 2 years ago, God knows where I would be.
Parang at 18, you've grown so much. Nag-mature ka ng sobra because of what you went through and this controversy. Kasi it takes a lot of maturity for a person to handle this kind of issue.
Yeah.
So, anong naging role ng parents mo navigating this controversy?
my dad he's obviously in the public eye as well, and so he's faced similar he's faced controversies before, and he told me like the same thing a lot of artistas and people in the public eye told me. It's just don't let it affect you. You can't control that. What you can control is how you digest it, how you manage it, and so do what you can to make sure it doesn't get to you is the main thing. And after a while it'll pass, and it did pass. Like my audience is back to normal now, all these different things, but I think
Lilipas din lahat.
yeah.
Pero alam mo, when you go through things like this, trials like this, challenges, you learn something about yourself. May natututunan ka sa sarili mo. And the main thing that you learned about yourself is that Emman is.
I'm loving, I'm loud, I'm bubbly, I'm happy, I'm outgoing, and I'm unapologetically myself. I think that's the best way to put.
Healing is a lifelong journey. So kung tatanungin kita, what is helping you right now in your healing journey? What is healing you?
I think what's healing me is finding things that I love. I think love is the only thing stronger than hate.